Hey, y'all, welcome to Life Be Lifin, where life's hard, but laughing about it, that's free.
Today we're going to have a fun throwback story of our origins.
Yes.
We actually have a real life meet cute. It's full of everything you would want in a meet cute. It's got raging chemistry, awkward interactions, and a debate that is still going strong 11, 12 years later.
12,
Woo! My
not the math expert.
no,
It's actually, well, we've been married 12 years, but this debate's actually been going on for 13
13 years.
years.
Yeah. So I guess we'll see who's right.
I am. We all know. Me.
Me. I
Nah.
mean, I'll let you think what you need to think.
Anyway.
So tell me a little bit where you were when we first met.
Woo! Where was I when we first met?
Yeah.
I believe I was inside of the restaurant that I
Oh,
hired you at.
me about, were you even looking for love? Were you expecting a charming
Oh,
little lady to walk in and share your heart?
universally, where was I at?
Yeah.
I wasn't looking for anything. I was deep into a job that I worked every day. That was my life. I woke up, went to work, came home till I passed out, and went back to work.
I was fresh, fresh off a breakup. I was about 6 months outside of a breakup myself, and I was just desperately looking for work in a tiny little town where it was more about who you know than what you know, and I couldn't get hired by anybody to save my life. So
Yeah, that's true.
it's kind of And we have to kinda back up a second 'cause
Shift gears a
yeah, we're gonna
little.
shift gears for a second. In our introductory episode,
I think you'd call it episode.
it was more like a mini-sode. It was more
As
just
an
like a
intro.
hey, yeah. We had warned our audience that this is more of an adults only episode or, podcast,
Podcast.
and then almost immediately after we wrapped that recording, we were like, "You know what'd be really cool?
Put the little one in a video.
So now we thought it might be fun to have a reoccurring episode with our kiddo. So without further ado, it's time for a moment of magic, glitter, and 5-year-old wisdom. Welcome our co-host, Katie Joe.
She's gonna give us her royal take on life, one TR at a time.
I'm Princess Katie Joe, and I got things to say. Let's go.
All right. So what are we talking about today?
Princess Cinderella lived in this cottage.
Yeah.
She mopped the floor. She washed the windows.
Yeah, she did all the chores. Did she feed all the animals?
Yeah, she fed all the animals. She did everything. And after her fairy godmother did something, she went to the ball, and then
Yeah,
she
what
would
did she wear to the ball?
she would glass slippers. And what would I wear?
What would you wear?
I would wear glass slippers. And
What would you wear? What kind of shoes would you wear to a ball?
I would wear glass slippers.
What would you wear the first time you ever met somebody?
Glass slippers.
Just glass slippers no matter what, across
Yeah.
the board. Do you
Yeah.
think glass slippers are very comfortable? You do? I don't know about that. And what do you think the most important part of the Cinderella story is?
She got home
She got home, yeah? And where was her home? Was her home
in a castle.
Yeah, in a castle. That's right. Do you think she wore her glass slippers after she moved into the castle? No, why not?
No, because she didn't have a fairy godmother anymore.
Oh, she didn't?
Uh-uh.
How interesting. All right, let's wrap it up.
Thank you, gentlemen. Life be lifin'. Remember, life be lifin'.
Amen, sister. Life be lifin'. You got a pose for us? And there you have it, straight from the royal throne.
Ooh, I wonder how those glass slippers feel. I want a pair.
So we've already kind of established that you were workaholic.
So I was working in a restaurant 7 days a week, open to close. I mean, 16 hours a day. It was rough.
I was living with my parents, which is not really where a young adult wants to be. But like I said, I was about 6 months fresh off of a breakup and still just kind of get my life together. And I was living with my parents, desperately looking for a job so I could save money to get my own place. And I couldn't find work. I wanted a desk job because that's what I knew, but nobody would hire me because nobody knew me. So
So young and naive.
I am. I was, yeah. Nobody wanted to hire someone my age at that point. But I finally gave in and I started looking for jobs at retail because I had done that before and I knew I could do it what I wanted, but it wasn't restaurant, so it wasn't the bottom of the barrel. And then I guess another 3 months or so after I didn't find a retail job, I was like, well, I guess I'm gonna have to
You have to bite the bullet and
stay
come
out.
work in a restaurant.
So, I picked the restaurant that Andy was working at the time because it wasn't a fast food restaurant, but it also wasn't a full service restaurant. So, what do you call that?
We quick service
Service.
is what in the industry that restaurant at the time known for. Quick service. So counter, order, bring your food to the table.
Yeah. So I was like, that's somewhere in between. Maybe it won't be as bad. That being said, I was in a foul mood the day I went job hunting. And let me just like rewind the clock a bit because
Which, hold on, that's the best mood to be in when you're going out and applying for jobs is a
just,
foul, foul mood. Panel, evil queen,
yeah.
uh, that kind of mood.
Evil Queen meets Rags.
Yeah, yeah, that's
She
the
just
best
she just
mood.
got stripped of her throne, and now she's gotta go make money. Um, anyhow, was sidetracked there, but let's rewind the clock a little bit. When I say I went job hunting, like, day, you wouldn't go job hunting, you would just search on the internet,
Yeah, online,
Indeed.com, whatever, you know.
not sponsored.
Yeah, right? Back then, though, you had to on the pavement, you had to go to places, ask for applications, and then go back and give them the application. So, that's kinda where I was. I got out of the car, I got there ridiculously early. I didn't even take the time to figure out when they opened, I just rolled on up in there. It was like 9:30, I guess?
It was early. We weren't open yet.
No, they
There
weren't
was
open.
nobody in the building except me and my employees.
And, I I realized the door was locked, people were already there. I was like, "I just need an application. They can just hand it to me through the door and I'll be on my way." So I knocked on the door and, nobody came to open it, so I started, like, slowly walking back to my car, and I was like, "Well, I guess I can hit it on my way home, it'll be fine, whatever."
Lots of dangerous people. We didn't open the door for just anybody.
Yeah. So, I had taken a few steps, I was about to step off the curb, and little girl opened the door, and she was like, "Do you need" I want y'all to imagine, though, for a second, because we lived in a very country hick, backwoods, kind of very ooh, red lights town.
The armpit of Mississippi.
Yeah. Anyhow, love you, Mississippi.
We have family there still, and the family in Mississippi is great.
Yeah. It's not some place we'd go just to go, though. It's not.
Only to see family.
Yeah. So, she opened the door and I was like, I'm just trying to get an application. That's it." She was like, "Oh, okay, well, give me a minute." And I was like, "Okay." So she let me in the building, and I'm just standing there, feeling awkward in this big empty dining room. I was just like, "Oh, okay, well, I guess I'm just gonna stand here and feel awkward." And so that's what I did. And then she came back out after like 5 minutes or so, and she was like, "I'm so sorry. We're not hiring right now." And I was like, "Okay, that's cool. Oh, and wait." And then she was like, "You can put in an application online." I was like, "Okay, yeah, sure. So you made me stand out here to tell me something you could have told me when you opened the door?"
Yes.
Well, needless to say, I was that much more annoyed. I was like, "Yeah, okay, whatever." So I
Mm,
walked out the door and I'm, like, muttering
mm,
under my breath on the way to the car because 'cause I'm pissed. I was like, "How d like, seriously, you're wasting my time, and I don't have time to waste."
mm.
So, I'm halfway to my car, mumbling under my breath, and all of a sudden, she comes running back out the door, and she's like, Miss, wait, wait, wait. My manager decided that we actually really do need somebody. He's gonna let you go ahead and fill out an application now." And I was like, "Cool." So I do my best to put a little pretty smile on, and I go back in there, and then she leaves me in the dining room by myself again for, like, another 5 minutes. So I'm getting really impatient at this point, right? I'm like, "Y'all, I don't even know if this person's gonna hire me. I've got other places I need to go apply for jobs. What are we doing?" So finally she comes out and she hands me, like, this 7-page application, and I was like, "Alright, well, let's get to it. I'm not fixing to take this with me. Let's just fill it out and leave it here." So I go find an empty table to sit out because the dining room was literally full of empty tables because they still were not open.
Yeah.
So I go sit down and I am filling out this application, and I have a resume because I want a real job, right? Not a restaurant job. Yes.
None taken.
I also have hard time remembering dates, and I am a terrible speller. So all of these things combined, I was like, "Yeah, I'm not gonna try to fill out this application from memory." What did I do? The only logical thing? Took out my resume and I laid it in front of me so I could copy the information from the resume to the application. So while I'm sitting there, like, pressing way too hard on this application with my pen as I'm writing, all of a sudden, somebody comes and sits down in front of me and snatches up my resume. And I'm already, like, in a bad mood, pissed off, don't wanna be there. So as my resume goes away while I'm copying it, in my head, I'm like, "How dare you? You can tell I'm copying off of this. So rude." So then he said something and I looked up, and that was kind of where all of my anger melted because look at this face, y'all. Look, beautiful blue eyes. He didn't wear glasses back then either, so all I saw was just, like, beautiful baby blue eyes, and I was like, "Oh."
I gotta hide them now. They'll make drive people crazy.
So what I didn't know was while I was filling out this application, he was somewhere off in the corner
Sleep.
making unfair assessments of me.
Is it my turn yet?
It's your turn.
Perfect. Here's the real story of what happened. It was a very, very early Monday morning.
It was Monday. You are correct.
I had been working 30 days straight, no off day. Store I was in, shambles, put it that way.
But again, Podunk Town in Mississippi.
Yes, very podunk town. Inside the store was in disarray. I was a fixer. I went around and I fixed locations. So, I had been here for a little while, and wild to say, but tax time hits restaurants hard. Everybody thinks they're thousandaires because their tax return and they don't want to come to work anymore. So 30 days straight of working, no help, Monday morning. And mind you too, been trying to hire people, been trying to find people. I had to go outside of the county to find decent human beings to come serve, make food. So tired. Had been at the store all night and all morning, tired, cranky, moody, haven't shaved.
Just wanna set the scene for y'all here. This is 2 cranky people about to interact with each other.
Wild to think that somebody went out to go look for a job cranky. Understandable manager inside of a store to be cranky. But don't ever let them see it. That's the main thing. Don't ever let your customers see it. So early in the morning. She has a very, very sure idea of what time it was. I couldn't even tell you.
It was mid-morning. It was about 9:30.
Early. So one of my members comes up to me and says, "Hey, there's somebody at the front door." And I looked at him and said, "What do you think you should do? Did you go see what they want? They look like a decent human being? Or are they homeless, just scavenging cigarette butts and coins on the sidewalk?" Then she looked at me silly, like she already knew the answer to this question. So she went to the door. But while she was walking to the door, that person was leaving. So she ran over there, opened the door, and asked her to come inside, apparently.
Apparently,
I thought she just opened the door and said, "What do you want?" Not, "Hey, we're not open yet, but come on inside. We've got plenty of room, but nothing to serve." So then apparently this person at the door at 9:30 in the morning wanted an application, job application. Y'all, done wasting paper on people. The amount of applications that I had printed out was astronomical. The amount of applications I received back, minimal. 5, maybe 6 at best. Wasting reams of paper and having to buy that stuff is expensive, especially when you're worried about your P&L and your bonus is based off that. Numbers are numbers. Pennies make dollars. So I'm not printing out stuff. So I told my associate, I'm not going to name her because
we haven't asked for her permission or any
we,
of
she, I
that,
don't,
like,
I
identity
mean,
protection here. We're not
yeah, we're not trying to put people on blast.
Yeah.
If you know who you are, say hi, jump in the comments.
And also, shout out and thanks because we credit you largely for
We're still here. We're
Yes.
still together.
We're still going strong.
Thanks. So
Thank
anyway,
you.
he goes up to me and says, "She wants an application," which I say, "No." And she looked at me and said, "What?" And I said, "I'm not printing out an application. If she wants a job, she can go online, fill it out online. It'll come directly to me, and if I like it, I'll give her a call." I said, "No." So get her name. That way we can keep an eye out for it. So she went and delivered this horrendous news that, "Oh, my boss is so mean. He cares too much about the trees. He doesn't want to print out anything." So Becky left, really mad.
Oh, yeah.
My associate comes back and says, very underhandedly and under her breath, "I think she'd have done good here." Now, y'all, we weren't struggling for people, but it would have been nice to have a couple more backup. It's just hard. So the go-to excuse was, "No, sorry, like we're not hiring right now," which was a terrible thing to say. I was young too. Like, yeah, we're always hiring. We're always accepting applications, fill them out, and if we like what we see, we'll give you a call back. So he looks and says, or she, under her breath, goes, "I think she'd have done a good job." And I'm not making up the voice. That's kind of what it's that country
Yeah, she
accent,
just
that deep, deep South country accent,
Yeah.
like banjo's playing. You just rolled up on a farm, and some hillbillies out there that had never seen civilization. Like, what's
Right.
that? What's that ringing device you got there in your hand, there, buddy? That voice.
Very, very southern.
Not
Very
not
southern.
not very not everything else, but that voice. That's
Yeah.
what I'm getting at.
She had a very deep southern accent. It's actually kinda charming coming from some people.
Country. Anyway,
Whatever. Can be charming.
can be. Not here. So I looked at her and said, "Really? You think so?" I'm all about, possibly proving people wrong. I said, "Well, you know what? You think she's done good? Go get her. I'll print one out. How about that?" Mainly did it just to make her be quiet because her voice. Her voice was tearing through my eardrums. I hadn't slept. It's not what I want to hear. I want to hear angels singing, soft clouds floating by, and the back of my eyelids. That's all I want to see and hear. So, print out an application, hand it to my employee. He takes it to Becky. And then she comes back and goes, she's going to stay here and fill it out. I went, great. Wonderful. Not that we have things to do, or maybe I want to run out of the office and cut up and, you know, something. Now I can't even scream. I want to scream. I can't even scream because now there are strangers in the building. So give it 5, 10 minutes, ample amount of time to fill out a job application at a restaurant. And
I just have to say something though. That's ample amount of time if you're not actually reading as you go through. I read everything because that was the kind of person I was.
back then she read the terms of service
Huh?
on everything.
I was one of those people.
She just signs her life
I
away.
pretty much I'm just like whatever. Let's just get on with it.
I come out of the office and I see the very properly sat young female, brushed hair, well dressed, sitting up straight in her chair, not slouching. All good things. Didn't have any shoes on.
News. This
No.
is what the debate is. I had shoes on, y'all. They were they were flat soled. They were Birkenstocks, and they were like little ankle boots. They're super flat on the bottom because I'm tall-ish for a woman, and I don't like adding height because I always wanted to be short. So every shoe that I have ever owned, minus heels, is flat soled because I don't want the added height.
Very interested what general public thinks. What's the first thing that pops in your head? You hear the word Birkenstock.
Old shoes, that's brown.
I'm gonna tell you what pops in my head. It's a sandal or a slip-on shoe
Slip-on
with
shoe.
a open back, a canvas front or canvas top, almost like a leather or some kind of like hide, something like that. Not a sock with a leather sole on the bottom,
It's not
because that's what you were wearing.
not. I was wearing shoes. Promise.
Anyway,
Wish I still like, I wish I woulda kept these shoes so we could show them to you so that we would all know that I am right. I was wearing shoes. Anyways, go ahead.
just like socks, one of them got lost. Oh, then we got to
Whatever.
throw the other one away. So socks. Anyway, so I made comment. I said, "Well, to be honest with you, it's looking good. He ain't got no shoes on. I'll go over here and I'll talk to her. I'm gonna have to let her down, disappoint her." Like, and I remember asking her, I was like, "Do you think you could buy her a pair of shoes?" And then she giggled and was like, "No." She knew that she didn't have shoes on either.
Oh,
So I go over to the table where she's sitting, and I notice that this young lady is filling out a restaurant job application off of a resume that she has brought with her, a restaurant job. We're not making nuclear bombs in the back. We're not solving world hunger, not curing cancer. We are meat and cheese on bread and counting to 10, knowing the difference between a nickel and a dime and a quarter and a penny. So it was odd. It was the first time I'd ever seen anybody bring in a resume. Well, I had somebody one time show up for orientation at a job an hour late. The reason that they were an hour late was because they decided that they would make themselves a sandwich before they came in at 8 o'clock in the morning. Then they called their mom and got into a 45-minute long conversation with their mom. Only then, after we're reminded, "Hey, I thought you had orientation today." That's when they went, "Oh yeah, I probably need to go up there to that." Not panicking or anything, and then took another 30 minutes to get up to orientation. It was the best story I'd ever heard. We still hired that person. I've got a very weird story about that person. That's for another episode. Anyway, I sit down at the table and I take my finger, I slide her resume over towards me.
he snapped.
No, listen, you were in the middle of reading the resume, so therefore you thought that I snatched it because it was very abrupt for you to look at the resume, then look over at your application, then look back and the resume be gone. One could assume that it was snatched. I very aggressively slid it across the table. And I looked at her resume. I have not looked at her face. I have not seen her face. I don't know how many teeth she has. I don't know if she's missing an eye from a random fireworks accident when she was young. I don't know anything about what's going on with the face. Grab her resume. I look at it, and then I say, "How do you want to work here?" Starting conversation. It's a terrible way to ice break. Terrible way to start a job interview. Not even an interview. I'm just sitting down wondering why she's applying for this job at 9:30 in the morning on a Monday.
Which I totally lied through my teeth because I did not wanna be applying for that job at all. I don't even remember what I told you. I was just like, "This is why I wanna work here."
I don't think you remember what you told me for the same reason that I don't remember what you told me because at that point we
Yeah,
both looked up and our eyes met.
that was the end of it.
And that was it. I didn't care if she didn't have shoes on. I hired her like instantly and was like, "Oh, hey, woo." Y'all, it was like tidal wave hit me and I didn't know how to recover, react. Didn't feel bad. Felt really good and weird. A feeling that you ever have that sensation that you've never felt before ever. And it's weird and you're like, "Ooh, I don't know how to act right now." That's
Yeah,
that's what it was like. I still had to talk to this person. So words were not working.
for either of us.
Stumbling around. I kept telling her that she has to wear shoes.
So we got he kind of segued into an interview somehow. I'm not really sure how it got there, but we started talking about like, okay, what's your work experience, all the things. And then
I didn't care what it was. I was gonna hire
yeah.
her.
Well, then he got onto the topic of dress code. He was like, "Okay, you gotta wear khaki pants. We provide you a shirt, whatever size you need, just let me know. Make sure you wear a belt." And every few words, he would be like, "You gotta wear slip grip shoes." And I was like, "Yeah, okay, that's cool. Makes sense. Restaurant."
Well, I
And
just
then,
said closed-toed shoes, some kind of tennis shoe, or a non-slip shoe.
but it was like we would talk a little bit, and then we'd come back to, "But you gotta wear these non-slip shoes." And I was like, "Hey, I got it."
I also have to point out something too, y'all. I've been in a management position for a very long time. I've interviewed numerous people. Ever in my life have I ever hired somebody because I wanted to get to know them for this point. Everybody else was like, "Yeah, you'd be great for my customers. I'd get you in here, dum dum.
Yeah.
I can teach you a thing or two." Oh, I hired some of the dumbest people who didn't know up from down, left from right, or blue from green. Some people didn't even know what a quarter looked like or a penny. Not making it up. Had to walk people through this and hold their hands. I used to ask people if they could count to 10. If they could count to 10, they had a leg up over a lot of other people. Counting money, gotta know how to count. Have to.
Yeah, somehow he put me on a register, and I can count to 10,
She's
but
terrible at
I am
math.
terrible at math.
I was so many red flags. So many, but I hired her.
By the end of the conversation, though, in my head, I was like, "This guy must have the absolute worst time getting his employees to wear the appropriate shoes."
Everybody run around barefoot.
Like, that's what was going on in my head. That is how many times he mentioned it. I was like, "This is excessive. This guy does he can't get people to wear the right shoes." That was what was going on in my head. I had no idea that him and his employee had a debate going on about whether or not I was even wearing shoes that day.
Was like I said, it's this feeling. Get it was something unique and special, and I wanted to explore it further. So I thought the best way to explore that would be to hire her,
He
force her to come interact with me.
Let it be known too that he hired me with the contingency that the week after he hired me, I was gonna be gone for a week.
Red flag. Never hire somebody who then wants to take immediate vacation.
I was upfront about it with him. I was like, "Look, I have this plan to go travel way far away from here on the other side of the country, and I'm gonna be gone for a week, and
So
the plan's already made."
she went to go meet her. She went to go see her sister.
Yep,
She worked for me for 2 days. 2 days.
2 days
Then she went out of town for a week.
for an entire week.
Craziness. But after that, it was
I spent that entire week trying to call the store too. Little did I know, the number that was listed on the website, which is where I got the number from, their fax number, not their phone number. So I spent all week trying to call a fax machine.
we fixed it after that. We fixed it. Fax machine. got thrown in the dumpster. It kept ringing and nothing was coming through.
And they thought it was broken.
We did. I was like, "Why does this number keep calling us?" And I threw it away. So, yeah, then she comes back from this vacation and then walks into the store and proceeds to quit. We're
Yep.
2 weeks in.
So wait, though, okay, because you missed a part. While I was on this vacation, one of the desk jobs that I had been trying so hard to get actually finally called me back, and I was like, "Yep, that's what I want. I'm gonna go do that."
Yeah. So then she proceeded to come in and tell me, "I have to quit." And I'm like, "Really? Hired you. You left for a week. Now you're quitting. That's just great."
Also, I have to interject here again because the 2 weeks turned into like a month because my background check took forever.
Yes. So anyway, she asked, she goes, "Do I need to work a 2 weeks out?" I was like, "Well, you don't have to if you let me take you on a date, dinner and a movie." Y'all, her eyes lit up the 4th of July. And it was almost like a scene played out in her head where she was like, "Got him!"
One of these days we'll have to
Hook,
tell
line,
them.
and sinker. And she was like, "I don't know, maybe. Yeah, you can. Maybe." I was like, "I tell you what, I give you my phone number and yeah, go from there."
And then I completely betrayed myself 'cause
Did. 2 seconds after she left, my phone blew up.
eh.
All I
Also, keep in mind that neither of us have ever been big texters.
I hate texting.
Yeah.
I hate it. I would much rather talk to somebody, hear their voice, so I could hear everything going on, the range of emotions, everything. Reading blank words, emojis are terrible too.
Emojis weren't really even a thing back then though
They
either.
weren't. Phones had like, I mean, it was,
I don't even think an iPhone was a thing
yes,
yet, was
it
it?
was, it was,
Never
I
mind.
had, I, I had an
Was
iPhone at the time. It was
dang,
2011.
was
For
2011.
people who can math, 13 years minus 20, 25, 27. So iPhones were a thing. iPhone, I think we were on like the fourth or the fifth one by that time. So
Well, I was still stuck in yesteryear because that's just the kind of life I had. So
she was.
I didn't know iPhones were a thing.
She had one of those flip keyboard phones
Yeah.
that flipped out long ways, had a QWERTY keyboard
Yep.
so she could type out stuff.
Hmm.
Wildest thing. We still have it. Our daughter plays with it
She
now,
does.
and she's fascinated by it
Yep.
because
It's
she's like,
ancient to her.
this thing doesn't look like any of y'all's phones. Can I watch videos on it? We're like,
No. And
no,
she asked if she could play games on it, and I was like, no, can't do that
no. I
either.
don't even think you had Snake on that thing.
Nope.
So yeah. So talked. We went on a date.
He fell asleep at the movie.
I did. I'm an overworked restaurant manager.
And it was a movie he'd already seen.
Had the night off. Yes, I enjoyed the dinner. Dinner was fantastic. The company
It was
was even
really
better.
good.
Y'all, you put me in a dark room in a comfy chair.
Also,
I can sleep through a nuclear disaster. No
also,
amount of noise can wake me up.
I gotta kind of tell on him a little bit. Not only did he fall asleep on our first date, y'all, he took me to meet his mom on our first date. I've lived with my parents and made it like a point to be like, oh, I will meet you at Walmart so that you don't have to meet my parents on our first date.
That's a whole nother episode.
That's a whole nother story for a whole nother day. But yeah, this guy took me to meet his mom on our first date, then fell asleep in the movie,
I'm not
and I
saying
still married him.
I'm not saying that I'm perfect.
He is the best man you're ever gonna meet. I got him.
I
So
stumble. Well, nobody's perfect.
no,
We out here trying our best.
life be lifin'.
That's it. Just trying our best. But
Yep.
that was it. I think well, let me ask you, when did it start to feel real for you?
Yeah. I don't know that there was any like pinpoint specific moment that it started to feel real, but I think it was just kind of a feeling that developed over time. And then one day I woke up and realized I didn't want to have to do life without you. Like,
Yeah.
it was just kind of like, if you're not there, what am I doing?
You felt like you were at the end of a quest
Yeah. Hmm.
and got the reward. You gained a partner on your quest for further.
Yeah.
So now you're starting your next adventure. Um,
When did it start to feel real for you?
the moment I saw you, I knew, like I said, that feeling, it was like I got hit with a wave. I know what the wave was. I know that it felt weird. It was new. I'd never felt it before. It was exciting, fun.
It I'm right there with you, like, I had that same feeling. I think it just took me a little bit longer to start trusting that feeling
Yeah.
until I feel like it was something I could explore.
The electricity in the first kiss at the cattle crossing.
Oh, man, that's another really good story.
We're gonna leave that. We're gonna plant that little seed right there and just
Mhm.
let you deal with that. But
Yeah.
yeah, first kiss very electric. It shocked me and it was great. That was the end of that. I think maybe a month and a half later, I was telling my family about how I was going to propose to her. Uh, I had my grandmother's ring, and awkward
Very
moment.
romantic.
Becky walked into the room while I was showing everybody in my family the ring, and everybody was getting teary eyed. And then Becky walked in the room to a bunch of sobbing
The
people and was like,
whole room went
"What is
silent.
going on
I
here?"
was like, I just interrupted a very tender family moment, and because I had stepped outside to go get my jacket out of the car because I was cold. I was like, I think I need to go find something else in the car that I forgot.
Yeah.
I felt
So,
awkward.
but I'd say in the beginning is when it started to feel real for me. So,
Yeah. And did you imagine us having met any other way?
mm,
I
no,
didn't either.
I don't think I would have even noticed you if I was standing in line
Yeah.
somewhere. Um,
You have imagined us meeting on an app.
oh,
I think we would have ever
my
met.
mind was I was a one track mind at that time, and
Yeah.
that was work, 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 work. There was nothing personal going on. She just
Yeah.
happened to interrupt my work by coming in to fill out an application,
Mhm.
which I'm not saying applicants are interruptions, but it's a nice pause in your day. And you're not staring at a computer or you're talking to your knucklehead employees or you're not trying to teach somebody how to spread mayonnaise on a piece of bread. Nice to just go interact with people, and sometimes you find some hidden gems both on the good side and the bad side. I'll be honest with you, I ran into some crazies over
Got
the
some stories we
years,
could tell for sure.
and I, interviewing people was always exciting because you never knew what you were going to get. It was like opening up a mystery box. Wonder what this one's gonna be like. Y'all, I interviewed an Eagle Scout one time for a job. Guy was perfect on paper. Perfect. First night after he was hired, his first night on the job, my man's in the back with his vape and making smoke tornadoes on a prep table. He had to go. So, sometimes, actually all the time, it is never good to judge a book by its cover. Dig deep, find out who they are.
Well, here's a good question for you.
Okay.
What would you tell you had to like meet yourself from back then? What piece of advice would you give your younger self right before I walked in the door?
Two things. Pop a breath mint and buckle up. You're about to see somebody not wearing shoes fill out an application.
I was wearing shoes. That being said, I think if I had met my younger self at that moment, the only piece of advice I would have given myself was wear a different pair of damn shoes.
Wear shoes.
'Cause wearing shoes.
Not a different. You didn't have shoes on it. See. I think what happened was is that you left the house when you were getting ready to come fill out the application in your terrible mood. Think you said,
You
"I'm
said fuck
gonna."
shoes.
You just said, "I'm gonna wear these shoes," and you were so angry, mad, upset that you had to go to this terrible dungeon of a
Horrid.
restaurant, fill out an application.
Application.
And then in your anger, you forgot to put shoes on. And I think you had some like black construction paper and some glue sticks, just
Just
and some
drew something.
scissors, and you cut out some soles and stick glued them to the bottom bottoms of your socks. You were like, "No, these are shoes. Look, they're like boots, but not really."
You wear ankle
They
boots.
offered absolutely zero support. I
Which
want to
other
make
shoes offer zero sport.
zero support.
Never.
I think your dad agreed with me that those were socks.
Well, he never let me hear him agree with you that they were socks.
I think we had a conversation. I think they were socks.
I don't know about that. So what do y'all think?
So here's
Was I wearing shoes?
who
Was
was
I
it?
not? I was. I think though. Let them settle it.
Okay. Now,
If you think I was wearing shoes, comment a shoe in the comment section.
if you believe me, real story, you know that she was not wearing
No,
shoes.
look at this. Does it look like I would go out in public without shoes?
Yes. Not now. Back then,
And
if I pulled a picture up of you back then, yes.
Ooh,
I think people would be like, you know what? I could see her forgetting shoes.
yes.
I mean, yeah, you were good looking, still good looking.
No.
You're hot. Um, we're all human. Sometimes we forget, and
Life be lifin', yo.
y'all, look, people forget.
Comment a shoe emoji. Comment a shoe emoji.
Yeah.
Comment a shoe emoji if you think I was right, because I totally was wearing shoes, because I would have been horrified to leave the house without shoes.
Or comment a foot emoji if you think that she did not have shoes on, legitimately forgot to put them on.
Don't forget to like and subscribe to our channel.
Yes.
All right. Well, let us know who you think is telling the truth, and thank you for joining us today. Tune in next time for more silly stories, crazy debates, and wild fun here on Life Be
We'll
Lifin'.
see you next time.
Bye.